What's up, Bruins fans? I'm here to give you the latest info on your beloved Boston Bruins. In this video, I'm going to take you on a trip down memory lane and relive some sorrow. Sorry about that. I'm going to tell you what I think are the 5 worst trades in Boston Bruins history. I want to thank you all for clicking on this video, but 92% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed. If you could click the like button and subscribe button, it would let YouTube know that you like my Bruins videos, and it would help me a lot. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much. Let's start off with number 5. The Boston Bruins send Reggie Leach, Rick Smith, and Bob Stewart to the California Golden Seals for Carlo Van Dyes and Don Donahue. As the old saying goes, when you trade the best player, you're going to lose the trade. But the Boston Bruins traded a future 2-time 50-goal scorer in this deal. Over his career, Leach would win a Stanley Cup in 1975, a Canada Cup in 1976, and was the NHL goal-scoring leader in 1976. Not to mention, when they won the Stanley Cup in 1975, it was against the Boston Bruins. He eclipsed 20 goals in 10 seasons. He got 30 goals 6 times and potted 61 goals during the 1975-76 season. In the 1976 playoffs, he won the Conn Smythe Trophy despite playing for the runner-up. Van Dyes did okay in Boston, playing about 5 seasons there, and one season he did get 74 points playing on the Bruins back end. He did end up playing 1,000 games in the NHL, and when you look at the time of the deal, Leach had only 20 points for the Bruins in 56 games. Don Donahue was not quite as successful, as he failed to even dress for a single NHL game. You have to wonder, though, if Leach had stayed a Bruin and got to play with Esposito, how many goals he would have scored in Boston, and if his number would be hanging from the rafters in the Garden. Number 4, Dougie Hamilton is traded to the Calgary Flames. On June 26, 2015, during the 2015 NHL entry draft, as an impending restricted free agent on July 1st, with the Bruins facing salary cap constraints, Hamilton was traded to the Calgary Flames in exchange for a first-round draft pick, which used to select Zachary Senyshyn, which they used to select JFK and Jeremy Lauzon, all in the 2015 NHL entry draft. The Hamilton trade still puzzles me to this day. At the time, there was rumors he didn't get along with his teammates, but I just don't see it. They can say it with salary cap reasons, but you don't trade defensemen like Hamilton. I have never heard anything bad about him except for when he was traded out of Boston. Hamilton has had an extremely successful career in the NHL and has gotten over 40 points 7 times in his career. In 2022-23 for the New Jersey Devils, he scored 22 goals and got 55 assists for 74 points. He has been consistent with his play throughout his career and has averaged over 20 minutes a night. Needless to say, Zach Senyshyn was a bad pick by the Boston Bruins and was a stretch at the time. That year, Boston had 3 picks in a row, and not one of those players still plays for the team. Notable players taken directly after Senyshyn are Matt Barzal, Kyle Connor, and Thomas Chabot. This draft will forever be known as Boston's biggest failure in the first round ever. Number 3, the Boston Bruins trade Tyler Seguin, Ryan Button, and Rich Peverley to the Dallas Stars for Louis Eriksson, Joe Morrow, and Matt Fraser. I think this one was made worse because we all got to watch it happen on Behind the Beat and see them just decide to move on from him and barely get anything back. Seguin has played 969 career NHL games so far, scoring 351 goals and getting 431 assists for 788 points. He scored over 30 goals 4 times in his career, including one season where he got 40. He has scored over 20 goals 10 times in his career and has led the Stars in scoring 3 times. Seguin was traded for off-ice issues, and if the rumors are true, I can understand that. But I think they should have checked with the other player first, because that player rumored to have an issue with Seguin left the same year as well. Another thing we all got to watch on Behind the Beat as the traded Seguin then call Horton's agent only to find out he doesn't want to come back. Boston is known as an organization that gives second chances, but from my understanding, Seguin was given way more chances than 2 to figure his stuff out, but his maturity got the best of him in Boston. I'm sure he would have had an amazing career if he stayed, and the Bruins might have won another cup. Louis Eriksson wasn't bad in Boston, but he also wasn't great. But he was plagued by injuries due to concussions, and he never seemed to fit in the Bruins system. He would only play 3 seasons in Boston because Boston wouldn't even re-sign him when his contract was up. His last year in Boston, he scored 30 goals, but Boston must have known something because he was a shell of himself for the rest of his career, playing 6 more years, and his highest goal total was in one season was 11 goals. When you have a hard time gelling with Bergeron or Krejci on the ice, the writing was on the wall in Boston. Number 2, and almost number 1, but there's a caveat. Ray Bourque is traded to the Colorado Avalanche. I'm going to break this one down, but will admit that Bourque was traded so he can go win a cup. It was extremely classy of the Bruins organization, but we know that there was St. Louis and Philadelphia, along with Colorado, that were all bidding for him at the time. Ray thought he was going to Philly. The Boston Bruins weren't short of offers, and Bourque was even surprised at the time it was Colorado, which turned out to be the best place for him. The rumor is that Colorado did offer the Boston Bruins the best offer, but we have no clue what the other teams offered. Ray Bourque was traded to Colorado by Boston with Dave Andreychuk for Brian Ralston, Martin Grenier, Samuel Powelson, and New Jersey's first-round choice. Bruins. The Bruins selected Martin Samuelsson in the 2000 entry draft. So it looks like Boston trading for a draft pick has backfired on them more than one occasion. Ray Bourque is one of the best defensemen ever to play in the NHL and would be for the Boston Bruins, but a guy named Bobby Orr played there as well. When you trade a first ballot Hall of Famer, you lose no matter what. So I couldn't leave this one off the list. He was traded at the end of his career and only played 2 seasons in Colorado, but did get to lift Lord Stanley in his last game ever in the NHL, and he returned to Boston with the cup and they threw him a rally. I'm pretty sure he's the only player from a visiting team to get a championship rally in Boston ever. Ralston played okay for Boston, but he pales in comparison to Ray Bourque. Ralston played 5 seasons for the Boston Bruins, scoring 31 goals one season. The issue was the Bruins stunk the whole time he was here. The early 2000s for the Boston Bruins were some bad years. Some fans don't realize that the Boston Bruins used to be the team that everyone knew was going to not make the playoffs. Those bad years, though, led to the Bruins being able to draft Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, David Krejci, and Joe Thornton. Now, number one, I think I just foreshadowed it. Joe Thornton is traded to the San Jose Sharks. Boston Bruins sent Joe Thornton to the San Jose Sharks for Marco Sturm, Brad Stewart, and Wayne Primo. This trade sent shockwaves through the Boston Bruins fan base and the league. So many GMs at the time were quoted in saying they didn't even know he was available. To say the Sharks stole him was an understatement, as Joe went to win the Hart Trophy that same year in San Jose. It wasn't like Thornton didn't play well for the Bruins either, as he scored 73 points in 2003. The season before Thornton was traded ended due to the lockout, but he got 9 goals and 33 assists in 23 games. Thornton went on to have a Hall of Fame worthy career, playing in 1,714 games. He got 430 goals, 1,109 assists, for 1,539 career points. Some say this trade needed to happen because it paved the way for Bergeron and Krejci, but I think you would much rather had Bergeron and Thornton instead of Bergeron and Krejci. The Bruins would have had 2 of the top centers in the league in their prime of their careers, and who's to say Krejci couldn't have been that third center, and the Bruins would have been an embarrassment of riches down the middle. It was said at the time that the Bruins traded Thornton because they didn't think they could win with him. Maybe they were right, as Thornton would never go on to win a Stanley Cup, and even the captaincy was taken away from him in San Jose. The Bees didn't get anything great out of Stewart. Over 2 seasons with Boston, the defenseman suited up for 103 games and scored 48 points, 17 goals and 31 assists. Wayne Primo wasn't anything special either. In 101 games over 2 seasons, he scored just 29 points, 13 goals, and 16 assists. Later on, Stewart and Primo would both be shipped to the Calgary Flames. The only guy that was truly worth anything for the Bruins was Marco Sturm. Over 5 seasons with the Black and Gold, Sturm suited up for 302 games and registered 193 points. On December 11, 2010, Boston would then trade Sturm to the Los Angeles Kings. The trade obviously didn't sit well with Thornton as well, since he did not come to Boston for the centennial celebration, and he was asked. Players at the celebration said Joe is still upset with the organization over the trade and how it all went down. Hopefully we get a documentary one day that what truly happened to lead to this trade. I'm honestly so fascinated with this trade. I looked up this trade so much to even see if there's a little bit of dirt. Bruins organization is known for secrecy. I'm really hoping that Thornton one day just speaks it out loud and just tells everybody what happened. When I was putting this list together, I was shocked by the guys that I even left off the list, like Ken Dryden, and maybe one day Linus Ullmark. Only time will tell on the Linus trade, and I think as long as Swayman signs, that one will be all right. Boston has had a history of trading away some pretty big names. I'll be doing a best trades video, and there are some great ones there, so look out for that. Let me know in the comments which trades you think are the ones I missed or even that you disagree with on my list. That's a wrap on today's video. To stay up to date on all the news surrounding the Boston Bruins, please subscribe and drop me a like. If news breaks surrounding the Boston Bruins, be sure to check out the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you, and I'll see you next time.